You were a recognized, up-and-coming, talented director. Did you have any reservation about taking on this?
All of them.
All of them?
Every single one of them.
Because there was...
This is Alfonso Cuarón, one of the most decorated,
Folks, my next guest is a director and 5-time Academy Award winner.
daring, personal,
No importa lo que te digan, siempre estamos solas.
and diverse filmmakers of the 21st century. But back in 2002, Alfonso had just put himself on the map with his breakthrough feature.
Quisierais a veces vivir para siempre.
Now, the jump from road trip sex drama to the third installment in the Harry Potter franchise isn't a natural one. But there was a connection.
I was coming out of this movie, Tu Mamá También, that is the journey of two teenagers seeking for their identity as adults. And here's the journey of a kid seeking for his identity as a teenager.
But it was a connection that initially went over his head because, well...
First of all, I haven't read the books, I hadn't seen the movies.
Right.
And all I knew is that it's this family film and it's the third part of a franchise.
Right.
And that sounded really bad for me.
But after some gentle words of encouragement from his good friend Guillermo...
And he says, have you read it? I says, no. He says, well, you're a fucking arrogant asshole.
Alfonso read the book.
But then I read the book.
And
I fell in love with it. I saw the potential.
The wonderful world of Harry Potter was all the convincing that Cuarón needed, with Prisoner of Azkaban proving to be a surprising complement to Tu Mamá También, two explorations of life and transition. And Del Toro provided one more piece of advice to Cuarón before he took on the project.
Yeah. Says you have to do this, but don't try to do your thing. Just try to serve the material. And if you serve the material, you may do your most personal film.
It was advice that led to a new creative process for Alfonso, one that led to arguably the best Harry Potter film, and went on to shape the franchise as a whole.
I really love what Chris inherited to me. Chris Columbus,
Yes,
the director of the first and the second one. First of all, he chose Stuart Craig, the production designer, who's a designer I always admire. And I think he put together an amazing group of actors. I was the luckiest guy because I got these 3 kids that they've done already 2 Harry Potters.
He knows how to get past Fluffy. And with Dumbledore gone...
Good afternoon.
So in one hand, they knew by heart everything relating about their own characters and the universe around them. They knew all the technical aspects of doing a film.
It's a lot harder than everyone thinks. And there are 50 billion, trillion, million things going on at the same time that you have to think about, like hitting your marks, getting your line right at the right time, making sure you step into the light so that the face doesn't shadow you. All that kind of stuff.
But Cuarón's task with Prisoner of Azkaban was also about subverting what had come before him, expanding the magical universe to reveal its darker, more adult reality. And that wasn't because Alfonso wanted to impart his own style on the franchise.
It was not about, this is what I want to do. It's about, this is what the material needs.
The Prisoner of Azkaban ushers the series into darker, more complex territory. Now 13, Harry finds himself wrestling with fear, trauma, the blurred line between justice and revenge.
He was that friend!
All while reckoning with the weight of his past. But even as the shadows lengthen, there's light. Harry has the warmth of loyal friends and the unexpected hope of found family. The third book is the first time that world building, despite it being at its brilliant best in the novel, takes a back seat to the emotional, inner journeys of the characters. Any adaptation trying to capture the essence of the novel would have to take a similar character-based approach.
I asked Alan Horn, the head of Warner, why?
Right, why me?
Why me? I said, I love the character approach that you have in Tu Mamá También. I would love to bring that character approach in this film.
And that's exactly what Cuarón did, championing a thematically driven adaptation of The Prisoner of Azkaban.
What we tried to do is to detect the theme of the film that was about this kid finding his identity. And this kid that is learning that both the fears and the power to fight them reside within.
Expecto Patronum!
The actors are growing up with the characters, and the characters are growing up with the story.
and the story itself is obviously much more mature.
I got these actors in their turning point. They were turning 13. So they start getting conscious and aware of becoming actors. And they start taking their craft seriously.
We started looking deeper into the characters really and got more involved in that kind of thing.
I asked them to write an essay about the backstories of each one of their characters.
We just did what our characters would do. Emma just came in with reams and reams of paper, just about 23 sheets in the end, and I came in with one side of A4, and Rupert did nothing.
And I said, Rupert, you're not taking this seriously. You have to deliver your essay. And I says, no, I'm taking this seriously, but Ron wouldn't deliver his essay.
What the bloody hell was that all about?
Cuarón made them active participants in their own characters' development.
Alfonso, he was very trusting. He wanted us to put a lot of ourselves and our thoughts into the character. Is that really what my hair looks like from the back?
He has a special talent as a director to inspire naturalistic performances from his actors.
For me, what's so important, it was to ground the performances in a real place, not in a wizardy place, but in human emotions. Because my theory was that if you ground everything in reality, then the magic, or the so-called magic, is going to spring out just because it is there.
Beyond the Golden Trio, Cuarón had 3 heavy hitters to cast.
Gary Oldman was fantastic, Sirius. He was amazing, and he gave Sirius something that was in my mind for Sirius, but on screen, I really saw it, that slight edge of insanity, of being unbalanced, someone who'd been locked up for a long time.
12 years of it! In Azkaban!
It was great to be really to play a good guy. I mean, he is a good guy. So, I mean, we think he's a bad guy, but you know, so that was that I liked that dynamic, that twist, sort of twist at the end.
And you can always find in here.
I really like kids' films. I really enjoy being part of them. And since this is like the biggest of them all, I just thought what fun it would be. And then met everyone involved, and I'm a fan of Alfonso Cuarón. It was good to do. You can say at least once in your career you've done the whole werewolf transformation thing.
Welcome to another year at Hogwarts.
It's like every actor's fantasy, isn't it? Something like Dumbledore being a Harry Potter. So I'm delighted. I enjoy every minute.
I think that's everything of importance. Let's begin the feast.
That is very good.
3 perfect casting choices from Cuarón, building out a world with more complex characters who both have the darkness and the light. The Prisoner of Azkaban is a story about transformation.
In this film, what I found the theme was about a child trying to find his identity as a teenager.
Sirius Black was and remains to this day Harry Potter's godfather.
Harry is becoming someone new, and nearly every magical element in the story mirrors that journey.
We found the theme, and then whatever stuck there we kept, and whatever it didn't, sorry.
Cuarón and screenwriter Steve Kloves carefully selected the best parts of the book that express this theme of transformation.
Boggarts are shapeshifters. They take the shape of whatever a particular person fears the most. That's what makes them
So terrifying, yes. Which one of you can tell me the difference between an animagus and a werewolf? No one.
An animagus is a wizard who elects to turn into an animal. A werewolf has no choice. This is a time turner, Harry.
You mean we've gone back in time?
Yes.
Every cinematic inclusion by Cuarón was purposeful, guided by the story's themes. So unsurprisingly, the film's defining addition is the key element to Harry's transformation.
The Dementors are amongst the foulest creatures to walk this earth. They feed on every good feeling, every happy memory, until a person is left with absolutely nothing but his worst experiences.
I had a nightmare when I was in my teens in which I saw hooded gliding figures.
I think Alfonso came up with an amazing design for the Dementors.
It could be figments of a mentally ill mind. And that was a whole thing that I was exploring in the book. Harry is particularly vulnerable to them, but he's got a much worse past. So he would be, you know, it's not weakness, it's just the fact that he's faced them.
In a story about transformation, the Dementors force Harry to confront his deepest fears. While the Patronus reveals that the strength to overcome it doesn't lie in some external saviour, but within himself.
It was very easy to discriminate which of the multiple elements that play in the book, which ones would be relevant for this thing. Because what we wanted, it was a movie that was character-oriented with special effects, rather than to be a special effect film with a bunch of characters around.
Cuarón knew that VFX would play a large role in his film, and for 2004, the CGI is great. But with all the decisions he could make in camera, he wanted to ground the magical elements in a grittier, darker reality. Cuarón and his cinematographer Michael Saracen marked a radical atmospheric shift in the franchise.
Because this is the third film in line, you know, with these two guys, they literally reinvented it.
They abandoned the brightly lit fairy tale aesthetic of the first two films, replacing it with a moodier, adolescent, and desaturated palette of deep blues and washed greys. The overcast and misty environment of the Scottish Highlands provided the perfect naturalistic lighting.
In the early stage, the biggest conversation that these two guys have is about light sources.
Saracen was happy to embrace shadows and favoured a single light source aesthetic, getting creative when there was no obvious source at all, like in the Shrieking Shack.
Because it's such an old and decrepit building, because it's always moving all the time, Stuart made cracks between the boards. So it's almost as if the blinding light from the snow is coming through and just giving you a very soft light.
Every visual choice contributes to the same raw naturalism. The high contrast frames that drain out vibrant midtones, the wide-angle lenses that create depth and unease, and even the choice for the kids to wear their casual clothes.
The kids really felt comfortable with the clothes.
In the beginning, they just loved the idea that there was a bit of individualism there. It wasn't just all stamped out like the school uniform thing.
Ultimately, Cuarón wanted the camera to guide us through the story.
I want to try to tell the movie with a style that was as fluid as possible. One shot connecting with another one, as if the camera comes, say, okay, give me your hand, and the camera just takes you through the whole ride, from the first frame to the last frame.
Everything Alfonso Cuarón did with Prisoner of Azkaban was in service of the source material.
It was not about, I'm going to make different from number one and number two. It was about what is in the material.
He let the book guide his cinematic creativity, and the result was the film that most successfully captured the essence of Harry Potter.
It's the most cinematic, the most accomplished piece of filmmaking.
But Cuarón did something larger.
Alfonso has very good intuition. He's put things in the film that, without knowing it, foreshadow things that are going to happen in the final two books.
He built the framework for everything that followed, and despite the franchise drifting towards plot and spectacle, not reaching the creative heights of Cuarón, it was always, whether it knew it or not, aspiring to be like the seemingly wrong director who made all the right choices.